Did you know there are many different types of religions around the world, but the one that has the most followers in the United States is Christianity, which is 78.4%, while Hinduism is only 0.4% of the population? With this high leading religion spreading throughout the country, there are many churches built for a place to practice what they preach. In order for the people of Christianity to preach, they follow the readings from the Holy Bible written by God's people, whereas the Hindu sacred texts are contained in the Vedas. The Bible contains a lot of in-depth verses and scriptures on how one should act and behave, while the Vedas hold similar contents. With these texts in mind, one of the most well-known rules in the Bible is the 10 Commandments, and the Vedas has the 10 disciplines and 5 principles. The first religion being analyzed is Christianity. The founder is Jesus Christ with approximately 2 billion plus followers. The cultural tradition is Abrahamic and it is monotheistic, which is the belief in one God or the oneness of God. The sacred text of Christians is the Holy Bible that consists of psalms and scriptures written by many different people of Jesus' time in Jerusalem. One of the most important known doings of Jesus was that he died on the cross to save the lives of his followers by taking away their sin. Christianity is mainly practiced in the predominant Western world such as North America, Europe, and Oceania. Jesus Christ in the Christianity religion is a healer and teacher to the people of his land. Jesus, being the Son of God, was human that lived among people on earth. However, in comparison, the religion of Hinduism has no specific or historical founder, with about 828 million followers. The cultural tradition is an Indian religion and is monistic, which is the belief and teaching with only one essential substance or principle. The sacred text of the Hindus is the Vedas, that consists of scriptures from Upanishads, the Gita, and others. The Hindus believe that the texts were received by scholars direct from God and passed on to the next generations by word of mouth. The Hindu religion believes in reincarnation, as does the Christians. Hindus is generally practiced in the Indian subcontinent. They have one absolute, one trinity, whom are the Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva. The Brahman of Hinduism is the source of all things and is in all things. It is the self, Atman, of all living things. Vishnu is seen as the protector of the world and the restorer of moral order, Dharma. And Shiva is known as both the destroyer and restorer in the Hindu religion. As both the Christianity and Hinduism religions have their rules and regulations, the Christian religion has the 10 Commandments, which is the structure and core of the moral teachings of the Christian religion and how they should behave and act. The 10 Commandments can be found in the Old Testament of the Bible in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, verses 2 through 17, and in Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter, verses 6 through 21. These commandments state how we should act. They are all listed on what not to do rather than what one should do. They start out mainly as "thou shalt not" or "you shall," and continue stating the rules a Christian should follow. It is known that the 10 Commandments had no importance in Christian tradition until the 13th century, when they were used for teaching for those trying to confess their sins. While the 10 Commandments are very different from the 10 disciplines and the 5 principles, the first commandment is, "You shall have no other gods before me." The second commandment is, "You shall not make yourself a carved image." Third, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." Fourth, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy." Fifth, "Honor your father and your mother." Sixth, "You shall not murder." Seventh, "You shall not commit adultery." Eighth, "You shall not steal." Ninth, "You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor." And the 10th commandment is, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house or wife." All of these commandments can be found in any version of the Bible, paraphrased differently. In comparison, the 10 commandments are ways to behave and live. The 5 principles of Hinduism are more of values the Hindus should know. The first principle is that God exists as one absolute, one trinity, the Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva. The second principle is all human beings are divine. The third, unity of existence through love. Fourth, religious harmony. And fifth is the knowledge of the 3 Gs, which are the Ganga, the sacred river, Gita, sacred script, and the Gayatri, the sacred mantra. The 10 disciplines of the Hinduism religion are Sata, truth, Ahimsa, non-violence, Brahmacharya, celibacy and non-adultery, Asteya, no desire to possess or steal, Aparhigara, non-corrupt, Shaucha, cleanliness, Santosh, contentment, Swadhyaya, reading of scriptures, Tapas, austerity, perseverance, penance, and Ishwar Pranidhan, regular prayers. The 10 disciplines and 5 principles are found in the Hindu's holy scriptures of the Vedas. Even though the two structures of Hinduism and Christianity have many differences, there are still a few similarities. One similarity is Commandment 6, you shall not murder, which is comparable to Discipline 2, Ahimsa, nonviolence. The goal of Hindus' nonviolence is to create a peaceful environment while not murdering would help control peace. Another equivalent rule is Commandment 7, you shall not commit adultery, while Discipline 3, Brahmacharya, celibacy, non-adultery. These are clearly the same behavior rules from two different religions. Commandment 8, you shall not steal, goes very well with Discipline 4, Estiya, no desire to possess or steal. Again, these are the same rules. The final similarity between the religions is Commandment 4, remembering the Sabbath day to keep it holy, which can be closely compared to Ishwar Pranidhan, regular prayers, and Swadhyaya, reading of scriptures. Disciplines 10 and 8. The Sabbath is the Sunday, which is the day of rest, and when many Christians go to church for prayer, and to read and hear God's word, which goes along with regular prayers and reading of scriptures. Although there are a few similarities, there are quite a few more differences between the 10 Commandments and the 10 Disciplines. Commandment 2 states, you shall have no other gods before me. Well, the Hindus have the one Trinity that has the Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva, who were explained earlier. While there is one shown difference, the rest of the commandments listed don't have any comparable similarities. The 10 disciplines state to have truth, cleanliness, contentment, perseverance, and non-corruptness, while the 10 commandments state to not make yourself a carved image, or to take the name of God in vain, to honor your parents, do not bear false witness, and not to covet your neighbor's house or wife. There then are the 5 principles not compared at all, that all human beings are divine, unity of existence through love, religious harmony, and the knowledge of the 3 Gs, Ganga the sacred river, Gita the sacred script, and Ganesha the sacred mantra. The commandments that are different from the disciplines have more depth than what they state, such as Commandment 2, you shall not make yourself a carved image. This commandment is stating that you shouldn't create an idol to look up to besides God himself. There should not be any other above or below the figure. Commandment 3 is stating not to use God's name as a cussing word, such as God damn it, because that would be using God's name in the wrong way. Commandment 4 is simply stating that you should be kind and care for your parents, so show them that you love them and honor their names. Commandment 9 means to be kind and honest with your neighbors and to help them out when they need your help. Finally, Commandment 10 says that anything that is your neighbor's or your friend's possessions you should not take or use without their permission, which closely ties in with other commandments like not cheating or stealing. The disciplines that differ from the commandments consist of 5 of the 10, such as Sata, or the truth, which is to be truthful with yourself and others. Apargara, or non-corrupt, is to be honest with others or to keep yourself away from the wrong things that influence you the wrong way. There is also the Shaucha, or cleanliness, because the Hindus believe to keep themselves clean and well kept all the time. The Hindus believe to be content and happy with the way they are, which is Santosh, or contentment, which possibly could relate to Commandment 2, no idol. The final difference of disciplines is the tapas, containing austerity, sternness of manner, life, and quality, perseverance, steady persistence in a course of action or purpose, and penance, punishment of penance for sin. With these differences in disciplines, there are also differences from the 5 principles, where there are 4 or 5 that are different from the 10 commandments. The 4 differences are 1. All human beings are divine, which means to devote worship and time to God. 2. Unity of existence through love, which means to all come together through the power of love. 3. Religious harmony, meaning to be consistent and orderly with religion and worship of Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva. 4. Knowledge of the 3 Gs, Ganga, Gita, and Ganesha, meaning to know the sacred of the river, script, and mantra, used in prayer or meditation. After going through the 10 commandments of Christianity, the 10 disciplines, and 5 principles of Hinduism, It is interesting to see the similarities and differences between the two religions. These similarities and differences gets one to think about how many religions can share content or even where they could originate from. With 78% of the United States population claiming themselves as Christian, there are 80.5% of the Indian population identifying themselves as Hindu. These numbers show that the regions and countries' religions spread from one area and grow to other countries, such as into the United States, that contains many different religions. Not only are there comparisons for the 10 Commandments, 10 Disciplines, and 5 Principles, but there are differences between the founders, the sacred text, and the theism. All types of religions show similarities and differences with each other because they may have come from the same area of a country, split and developed their own type of religion.